We're unboxing our first custom artist face-up. I'm Sandy.
And I'm John.
And this is my lady to state. So John, why don't you get us started off? Because this was your, project.
Okay, so when we bought Kabuki, and you can see this in an unboxing video, I immediately knew that I wanted an alternate face-up for her. Because she's so dramatic, I wanted something that would be able to take photographs in regular clothes and not look out of place. She actually does photograph quite well in regular clothes, but I really wanted to try this idea of having multiple heads for the same doll, multiple expressions and things. So we put the word out, but ultimately we decided on Katie Moore. We bought a second Kabuki and sent the head and the wig out to Katie to be erased and repainted and all that stuff, and to create what we called the everyday Ray look. Our normal Kabuki is Reikon. This would be everyday Ray, and to be able to translate that dynamic, amazing makeup that Kumadori makeup Kabuki has into something that's like an evening look that still pays respect to where it came from.
Right. So you could still know who it was.
Yes, that was the most important thing. You had to know this was Kabuki. We've got her back. She's amazing. I can't wait to show her to you. And so what we're going to do is play you some parts of an interview we did with Katie where we talk about basically her background as an artist. We're gonna do an unboxing of the head. You'll get our initial impressions, and then we'll continue that conversation with Katie where we talk about her process specifically with this project.
Let's do it.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Hi.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
When we put out the call for face-up artists, what made you contact us?
Whenever I did my very first face-up, I referenced actual CJ style face-ups. I think it was like Resolute and Journey, and I was really using like official girls for reference. And you had said specifically you wanted a CJ style and you wanted like really crisp, clean work. And if it's one thing I'm really proud of as an artist, it's how clean I can make my art. I think I just felt really good because of the feedback I was getting too. And I'm like, I know I won't disappoint what he's looking for because I'm really hard on myself. And if it just has to be perfect, right? And that's what you were looking for. And I'm like, I know I can get what he wants. I just know it. So that's why I reached out. I think I reached out to Sandy. I'm like, hey, Sandy, I have these things, like, John's looking for a face-up artist, like, show him what I can do, and, maybe you can consider me.
We had, a number of people send in, some work. I knew that I had to spend the effort to, follow up with people and ask them for, higher resolution photographs and things like that. And there was so much going on that I pretty much let it go. When you put out your recent batch of girls on Facebook, that really sad girl, it was, I could see the pixelation that I was assuming was there and what I was seeing, but I could see that it was that, and I could see the sharpness through that, and the emotion got me. Your ability to create an expression that was actually going to make me feel something, which is just as important as the preciseness. I was like, we're done. That's it.
It was the first work that he said to me. I showed him the picture and he went, I would buy that.
Yeah, I wanted it.
I said, that's Katie.
I was like, give it to me. And then I think she was gone within the next 2 minutes.
Yeah, I like the smile girls. They're cute as heck. But I want a grumpy girl. I want a sad girl. There are different emotions that I enjoy. So I'm like, heck, I'll just paint my own. I'm glad people like them so much, really.
I imagine that you will become known for that. Far more than Kabuki, right? But it's for the sad girls because they're amazing. And you just put out 2 more a week ago or so, right?
It was a commission, and the person specifically wanted me to create a natural look. So I used a lot of browns and but I don't really ever use black. It's either like a really dark blue or dark brown because they just, like, black is so unnatural. And I always do mock-ups because I'm confident going in when I have that source material. So I always do the mock-ups.
How does that process normally work? Because I know like our situation was a little bit weird in terms of what we were looking for. So what does that normally look like?
If it's someone commissioning me, I always try to get as much information from them as possible. So I'll ask them a couple questions. I'll make sure, like, okay, do you want this, or am I interpreting it wrong in a way? And pictures are a good like reference, like, so I can kind of see what they're going for. And then I'll be like, all right, and I'll draw something up, and I'll be like, let me know if there's any changes you want me to make, because once I get started, it's not going to be easy changing it from there.
Right.
And I want the like mock-up to be like the final look, and then I just start.
I wanted to talk to you a little bit about basically your background, you know, in doing face-ups and art in general.
I've always loved art, like ever since I was young, and as I grew older, I learned it could be more of a career path for me. But I came across an artist who customized My Little Ponies, and I love My Little Ponies. And I'm like, okay. I want to do that. That's heckin' cool. And then I just came across this huge doll community on the internet who did like Monster High customs and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I used to do ponies for fun, so let me try a human doll and see how that is. So I saw someone on one of the Facebook groups, specifically Smart Doll, wanting a commission. And I was like, hey, I've done face-ups before. And I was honest, and I said, never on a Smart Doll, but I can show you what I can do. And they politely declined my offer, which I understand, because people want to see what you can do. So I got my first Chaos head and painted it. So I just kept buying more and getting better, I guess. And people seem to really like my work, which is really exciting. And I'm greatly, like, you know, appreciative of it.
How long has it been at this point since you started buying Chaos heads?
So I actually had to make a couple purchases on the Smart Doll site before I could get Chaos stuff, and it was
Gee
like,
darn.
Right, yeah, it was only recently. I think my very first purchase was the T Genesis that Sandy actually messaged me about when she went live. So I think it was like a couple months ago, I think, when I got my first head.
Well, obviously you're a much more experienced artist than 2 months, right? Like, so it's translated
right.
very quickly and very well.
I do have like the background in art, and I have done the ponies and the Monster High, so it's not like completely new. I know I had the materials, I had the, like, you know, memory, like, well, this is how you do it. And I watched a ton of YouTube videos too. Nicole's Dreams, Delightful, Jackie O, Doll Fairy. Like, I've watched so many different artists. I could watch them paint, and I'm like, I just gotta do what they do. But, like, in my own style. It's, like, it's weird to explain.
Yeah, can you talk to me a little bit about your illustration work, as if that, you know, if that's the sort of basis for your passion for art?
There's a lot of different, like, things you could do with art. So, like, concept artists, for example. They're like the idea guys, but for art. And their job is to get quick designs. And, you know, and they don't necessarily finish all their designs. They pick like 2 or 3, and then they kind of go from there. But for me, it's hard to just stop at the sketch phase. I have to see it all the way through. And that's very much like an illustrator. I love doing digital art. I love perfecting this image to its, like, final form. So yeah, I just really enjoy it.
So I imagine then that's a pretty strong asset for you, having the digital illustration background to be able to do a lot of that work on the fly, non-destructively. And then push forward with that final result.
Okay, so executive decision here, John. We need to show them the doll already.
All right. I know. Let's watch the unboxing. Here we go. I know Katie is, like, waiting for us to do this and know that everything is okay and that we're happy.
We told her it arrived, and she's been waiting for us to tell her that we've actually looked at it.
I think we've got the head here. Just gonna kind of... Oh.
You have a little envelope. Oh, look at her little logo.
Yeah, I really like her illustrative style of her art.
Yeah, it's really good. Let's see what we've got here. I'm going to open the little card. It says, hey, thank you so much for allowing me to do the alternate face-up for Reikon. Collabing with you, working together to design her was so much fun. I hope that you love her and that we can collab again in the future. Well, we'll just have to see about that now, won't we?
I have a good feeling.
Care instructions.
Oh.
If she gets dirty, take a tiny bit of water and gently wipe off. Sealant can scratch off, so please avoid touching her face. Keep out of direct sunlight. Lumi. I guess that's the name of her
Fox character?
Her fox character.
Yeah.
That's really cute.
Oh, some
So
postcards.
they're little postcards.
I love this.
Yeah, these are beautiful. Thank you, Katie.
Very cool style. So I believe the other piece in here is the wig.
She took good care of this wig, too. It is packed. As she said in her note, there was a bit of a collaboration going on as to how she would end up looking, but at the end, we have not seen it. She actually, and we left her artist discretion to do some things.
Oh, more tape. Seriously, though, thank you for protecting her very, very well. Layer after layer. She's right there. Oh, got a little peek.
Got a little sneak.
I'm so excited for this. You ready?
Yep.
Ta-da!
Oh, wow.
Holy cow.
Oh my gosh, I love her.
She is beautiful.
She's almost like, if you crossed a minifee with a Smart Doll. There's something like to the way the eyes are painted that has a minifee quality to it, which I personally like.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of intricate details, but also this sort of blending with the gradients that happen on like the blushing and between the gray and the black of her eyelashes. It just looks beautiful. I will say one of our sort of biggest challenges was to decide how to interpret the little blue triangles on her cheek. Seeing it here and seeing that sort of hug the contour of her eye, it just looks amazing.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I don't know about you, but I believe it 100%.
It is the same doll to me.
I can see her as the actress who puts the mask on.
The face like reads very differently because of the lack of these vertical markings.
Yep.
But the colors are all there. The implications that they were there, the eyebrows, the way the eye makeup curves up in the same direction as the original.
The eyebrows are lowered a little bit, but that's what you would expect because, I mean, we want her to look like, you know, her during the day when she's not wearing her full face.
I love that you get the idea, like, her blushing has increased around the bridge of her nose. It's much more prominent, and it sort of takes over the job of those vertical red stripes, but it's like, I always look at it as, this is not makeup that is removed and reapplied, this is something that is sort of part of her skin and sort of shifts around. But it shifts in such a way when she's not on stage to look like makeup. So it has to, you know, have some of the same balance of color, of red to blue, and the black sort of smoky highlights and things.
Yeah. She's beautiful. Let's put some wigs on now and see if... Yes,
absolutely. This is this Kabuki's body. Never been opened other than to remove her head.
I love it.
Oh, she looks so good.
She really does. She looks very elven. She would look really good with the cinnamon elf ears on.
I'm loving this. It looks soft and feminine and still manages to hold the shape of, you know, the basic silhouette of the original makeup.
Yeah, Danny needs to see this face up.
Yeah, I hope he loves this as much as we do because this is amazing. Yeah, Katie, you knocked this out of the park.
Yep. That's all there is to say about it.
Jeez.
She's perfect.
She looks so different and so the same. Like, it is It really does exactly what I wanted it to do, which is to create depth for the character, to play with this idea of, you know, the mask that Rey wears, and that this is not the mask, that this is the actual mask.
Right.
I'm just, God, stop looking at me. Jeez.
She's stunning.
She is amazing. I love the nose so much. You talk about her looking sort of elven. There's this like doe-like look to her because of the prominence of that blushing around the bridge of her nose. I love it. It's the two side by side. It accentuates the almost alien nature of the original Kabuki makeup.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Yep.
That's all there is to say about it.
It's done.
Yeah.
You done finished. You killed us. You slayed this, at least.
You broke the show.
You broke the show. Thank you, Katie. God, this is so good.
Yep, we like her a lot. We like that we have our own unique, well, we had the prototype, but this is different. We have our own unique face.
I love alternate faces. Like, I am hooked, and I cannot wait to do more of these. Like, I want more. We talked through the designs. You did mock-ups. We went back and forth. We settled on, I think we settled probably, 90%? And there was a couple of open questions that was just like, you know, use your judgment, because I don't think we could really answer them digitally. And then you went at it. What was the process like?
I spent my whole Saturday painting her. I started her around noon and I finished her like around 9:30. My method is I'll paint a layer and I'll like save my work with the sealant, and then I'll do another layer. And it takes 30 minutes for the sealant to dry, or at least I wait 30 minutes, just because I want to make sure that it's dried and good. And so that just prolongs the whole process. I just take a lot of time to make sure if it doesn't look good, I'll like erase it and like start over. And I found that using a Mr. Clean eraser is like really good. It erases really well.
How many times did you start over?
So the eyebrows were really tricky.
Okay.
It took me like, I think it was like an hour and a half to finish that first layer with the eyebrows. And I'm like, yeah, that looks good. I can finally move on. I make sure to give every detail the time it deserves to be perfect. Her eyebrows on the original are so dramatic and like amazing. And I'm like, I don't know if she'd want that dramatic look for every day. So I lowered them to a more natural position.
Yeah, I think the way they are on her normally, they would be like, that's something that where the half of the eyebrow is painted out.
Yep.
And then the other is drawn in with makeup.
Yeah. Placement really messes with the face up. And if you miss those eyebrow placement, it just doesn't look right. It's so easy to mess up.
Speaking of that, talk about what it was like to have the face and, you know, just be able to like remove what you needed to remove, because that was the concept that I came up with was why are we waiting for a blank G7 head? Why don't we just buy another Kabuki and have removed what we don't need?
It was great. I did a lot of research. I mean, I have experience with doing face-ups prior to her. Definitely did not want to ruin your doll, and I was pretty confident in my choices, but I used acetone and it doesn't harm the vinyl. I used very little at a time and I washed it. Every time I finished cleaning an area, like getting the paint off, I would go and wash it. So I didn't want the acetone to sit or pool or whatever. I kept bits of the eyebrow because I wanted to keep some original like face up, right? To just, I don't know, tie her into like where she came from and who she is. And where they start, the anchor was like natural height. It was perfect. And I'm like, I can totally use this. And I think I erased like half of it. And then I just adjusted the shape. It worked perfectly. And then it got to the contrast. And in art, it's pretty unanimous that red and black, just there's something weird about them. Yep. Like when they're next to each other, it can really mess with your eyes. It's just the colors, right?
Yep.
And Kabuki, so she has the red and the black paint, and it works because they're really big, bold shapes.
Yep.
Came up with the design for normal everyday Reikon. She had finer details. The red was a lot smaller, the black was smaller, and we gave her tiny little eyelashes and it just started looking like a mess, because if you squint, you lose all that detail. And it wasn't in the original design, but I was just like, I need to add white. It'll really break up the black and the red. And it was just like this gut feeling, and I'm like, John really wants the CJ style, but if I don't do this, I know he won't like it. And I remember messaging you and being like, is it okay if I add a tiny bit of white? And you're like, kind of, you weren't like sure, but you're like, but I trust you. And I'm like, okay, this is your moment, Katie. So I was like, I gotta do what I gotta do for art.
He actually came to me and went, Katie wants to put white in it. And
just a tiny bit.
And I was like, well, if she's the one that's seeing it right in front of her face. I was like, if she thinks it works, I say let her go for it.
So I added the little bit of white, like, and then the gray and the black. Like, there's a tiny black eyelash against the gray, and I'm like, I need to add white here. And I was like, yeah, that looks good. And then I did something really daring, and I was really nervous if this was the right move. The like blushing and the like here on her.
Yep.
The contrast must be higher. So I added a very tiny amount of white outlining that blush.
Yep.
And I was really, really nervous. I was like, did I just mess up?
I think it was the right call. I'm really happy that you did what was right for your artwork. Those white lines are the tiniest lines I've ever seen, Katie. Like, you talk about having like good, clean lines. Those are ridiculous.
Super sharp pencils. That's the secret.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah.
Do you come across times where like the actual physical paints, etc., do not translate correctly?
That can be a challenge in itself, because on Procreate, I have unlimited access to any color I want. I can pick any color. But in the real world, I have to like seek out those specific colors. So like for your girl, for example, I didn't have the gray. So I went to a store and I had like 5 grays, and I like scribbled on paper to make sure I got the right gray. And I try to keep that in mind too when I'm doing mock-ups. Like, is this a realistic, real life color I can achieve with like the materials I have?
The other element that we were open about was the blue triangle.
We had this idea for triangles by her eyes, and we both really liked it. The only thing we were concerned about was like the size and like making sure the shape was like good to go with her eye. I didn't want to overthink it, so I just cleared my mind, go for the triangles, make sure the flow is right, and that's it.
It looks really good. I couldn't have asked for a better face up, quite honestly. And what I'm impressed with is, even between yours, there's a difference between CJ and a face up. Like, it's an inescapable difference. You know, the application, everything is completely different.
The
materials.
process is different.
Yeah.
So many face ups look hand drawn. Yours does not. Yours looks practically airbrushed half the time.
I was so proud of her. And I was like, I kind of wanted to show them, but I also wanted to be a surprise.
We probably have more work coming your way.
Okay.
Possibly a blue girl.
I want to do a blue girl so bad.
One of the favorite parts about this process for me in collaborating with you has been the sort of necessary expansion of her story and us happening to get Blue Kabuki at the time and creating that story happening. Between fleshing out that story and getting, you know, this amazing work from you, probably some of the most inspirational like moments that we've had with Smart Doll.
Yeah. I mean, like, and this is coming right off of the Fates too, which was a really fun creative project. But this whole thing has turned into this actual like race of characters and like a family, and like it just seems to be keeping expanding. So I'm saying there might be a blue girl in the future.
I have to say, and I've said it already, but she is amazing, Katie. And thank you so much for such a beautiful, one-of-a-kind piece of art.
Yeah, she's really
You're welcome. Thank you. It means so much to hear that. Like, all I wanted to do is make something that met your expectations, and I'm really happy that you trusted my abilities to do this. Like, it means a lot.
The whole process has been fantastic. You've been like passionate, enthusiastic, and also, I won't even say patient because I don't feel like it seemed like you needed to be patient with me, which is saying something. Like
It really is.
like, I think we totally clicked in terms of like what it was going to take for this to be right. And she turned out perfect, like absolutely perfect.
So thrilled. Yeah, I really liked working with you. I felt like we meshed really well together. And I mean, I guess like I'm already a fan of your channel, so it was like an honor in itself to just do this for you. Like, now you own my art, and it's like awesome.
That's
it's so
awesome,
cool.
Katie. She's gonna move to Tokyo and work for Danny.
There is
You know,
that.
I am going to Japan in 2022, and I was gonna stop at the Mirai store.
If you like cutting vinyl, maybe you could
I do.
maybe you could get a deal with Danny.
What do you do? I cut vinyl.
I cut vinyl in my closet. Thank you so much, Katie. We love your work, and we're so happy to have Everyday Ray as a part of our family.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Fun.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
The actor applies the mask, layer by layer, creating a soul. Heroes and villains reflect in marrow-steeped tears. Applause melts into murmur. Illusion drains away. The actor removes the soul, layer by layer, revealing a mask.
Okay, so Miss Ray, you are beautiful and we love you. And Katie, we love you. She looks phenomenal.
Yeah, thank you for all your hard work and for really making this experience just smooth, easy, and like just delivering an amazing doll.
Yeah, we can tell you put a lot of care into it and it's very much appreciated. Yeah. Does she get another welcome into the court?
I don't know what the rule. Oh, okay. Well, apparently, yes.
Okay. Everyday Ray, welcome to the Court of Disdain. She's beautiful.
If you liked this unboxing, be sure to check out the recent unboxing we did of her alien half-sister, Kabuki. You can find out her real name in that video as well. Just imagine this in, well, not this exactly, but Kabuki in blue. It's amazing.
It's really stunning. Well, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for tuning in.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.